Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Welcome back to Misfits News. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis, and we want to start off today's episode with a recognition of some awful news that we were notified with recently, and that's the passing of Paul Bamba. We want to take a moment to celebrate both his legacy and pay respects to him, his family, his friends. What Paul Bamba accomplished in 2024 is truly remarkable. 14 wins, all by knockout, breaking Mike Tyson's record for most KOs in a year. It was all pointing to a tremendous 2025, and Paul was on track to, I think, absolutely tear the scene apart. And it's just truly upsetting, Biel, that we have to sit and remember him now in light of the passing.
It's difficult to address something like this, especially when you have such an amazing person, such an amazing character, and someone that, as you said there, quite rightly so, he turned his life around. And I think what he left for us was a legacy. And he showed that you can really do anything with your life. He changed it round. I mean, from where he was only a year ago to then go out there and, I mean, win a gold cruiserweight title. That is an accomplishment in itself to not only that, but then win by 14 knockout wins. I mean, if that doesn't prove you can go out there and do anything you set your mind to, I don't know what does.
And we are happy to state that there will be aspects of X Series 20 that remember Paul Bamba and celebrate him. I can't say with certainty because we're still planning, I think, some parts of it, but Paul Bamba will be remembered and absolutely will be enshrined as part of the Misfits and DAZN X Series shows. We want to share the statement that Neo, who was his manager, had released several days ago. So it is with profound sorrow that we announce the passing of beloved son, brother, friend, and boxing champion Paul Bamba, whose light and love touched countless lives. He was a fierce yet confident competitor with an unrelenting ambition to achieve greatness. But more than anything, he was a tremendous individual that inspired many with his exceptional drive and determination. We are heartbroken by his passing and kindly ask for privacy and understanding during this difficult time as we collectively navigate our grief.
From the Misfits team and family, we just want to send our respects and our best to family, friends. And we just want you all to remember Paul Bamba for what an amazing career he had and what an amazing, not only career, what an amazing individual he was and how much life and energy he brought. And he will always be remembered here.
Absolutely. And it was great to see the community come together and really mourn the passing of one of our own. So props to everybody. Now, we do have a pre-recorded segment going over the X Series 20 full card announcement, discussions on the developments with Conor McGregor and Logan Paul that we'd like to share with you guys. So we'll take it to that now.
Let me give you a rundown of today's topics. We'll be going over the Misfits 20 full card. And it looks like Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul may be actually happening.
I love it all, BL, but here's the thing. We're missing one person, the most multi-talented guy in Misfits, the 5-tool player himself. It's Mr. Main Event of X Series 20, Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. AT, how are we?
What's good, everybody? I'm feeling great. The king, the face of Misfits is back. You can't spell go without AT. You can't spell Manchester without AT.
I need to talk about this main event. You have been asking for this top billing, and now you get it against former UFC title challenger Darren Till. It's got to feel good.
Oh man, it feels great, but I'm here to handle business. I'm here to stay and remain the champion. Look, beating Darren Till can possibly lead me into a fight with potentially getting Jake Paul. Why not? Hey, KSI also said he's willing to fight the winner between Tommy Fury and Darren Till before Tommy Fury pulled out. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm fighting KSI or Jake Paul next, guys.
Well, and that thing, you were originally slated to face KSI in August, right? With a win over Darren, that would make even more sense. But let's talk about the nitty gritty of it. When did you know that you'd be stepping in on January 18th?
I knew some time. I wouldn't say I knew, but I knew once Tommy pulled out, I was like, somebody needs to save the day. And that's me. I've seen so many like bat signals out, goat signals out, and I'm like, okay, I'm stepping to the challenge. I talked to Mams about a few weeks ago. He says, "Hey, man, we appreciate you stepping in, saving the card. Let's do it." At the end of the day, I'm all about putting fans first before a
Hmm.
paycheck because the fans are the reason why we receive that paycheck. Fans first, then paycheck comes to me in general. I just want to put on a very entertaining fight so the fans can have a very entertaining moment.
And earning this, I
Entertaining.
mean, is a result of the company man, BL.
I was going to say an entertaining fight. It will be. And AT, I want you to give me some details. How many rounds is it going to be? What weight is it going to be at? I don't know if the people are aware of that yet.
Yes. So a lot of people who don't know it's going to be 8 rounds of pure torture and chaos. And the funny thing about this is Darren couldn't make the weight that I wanted him to go up to. So guess what? I'm going up to his weight and we're fighting at 195 pounds. I'm stepping 20 pounds above my weight class to fight a behemoth of a fighter like Darren Till.
What do you think that says to the rest of the Misfits universe that you're going up 20 pounds to fight someone when you have Jake Paul over there who's, willy-nillying about 5 pounds, 10 pounds here and there?
Hey, I'm a fighter. I don't pretend to be something that I'm not. I fight when any place, any time, anywhere. When you guys need me to fight, I'm ready. I'm here to fight. I don't make
Mhm.
excuses. People who make excuses are left on the back burner, are left on the shelves for a whole year so they until they fight. I'm just here to put on a very entertaining show and rebuild my brand as the Go AT in the Misfits universe. I told Mams Taylor, I told the Silent Brothers, look, my goal is to win a WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF championship in the pro rankings. I want to fight guys like Jake Paul, Peter Reed, Ben Whitaker, who's a hot prospect. Those type of fights excite me. I want to compete for an actual world title in the
Yeah.
whole entire world. Yes, I have the Misfits world title. That is also a professional belt in a sense, but I want more gold, gentlemen. I need that gold to be cemented in history as Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor, one of the greatest entertainers who ever stepped in a boxing ring.
You got to fill the display case. I get that 100%. Now, you mentioned rebuilding the brand of AT, and that's coming to fruition fantastically against Samuel Erickson, against Gabe Silva, back to back TKOs in the month of August is truly an impressive feat. What was the switch that you flipped? I mean, was it training with Dynamite David Lopez and his crew? What has led to this streak coming into the Darren Till fight?
A lot of it is mental. A lot of it is
Mhm.
mental. You can change coaches all you want. You can go to 10 different coaches all you want. But if your mind is not ready and sharp and it's not healthy, you're not going to improve as a fighter. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't party. I don't eat crap. My body is my temple. My mind is the most important thing. Once the mind goes, the body goes. So my job is to keep my mind focused and hungry and ready to go. And my body's just going to follow. That's all, man. Like, yeah, switching camps help. But if you're not mentally ready and locked in to fight, then you're never going to be ready, locked in to fight.
Absolutely. Now, I think Bertabiev is definitely quaking in his boots after AT has taken this fight. However, I want us to quickly go over the full card. It's been released now. It's Tuesday afternoon. So let's go over it, guys. I'll read it through and I want your reactions after. To start off the night, we've got BBC Garrett versus Cat. We then go to Adam Brooks versus Gavino. Bevo makes his return versus Dimitri Dionysus. Sammy Hamid comes in versus Ziggy Johnson. We got Carla Jade versus Milena Shah for the MFB Women's Lightweight Championship. We go to Ty Mitchell, Tommy Hench, and then the co-main event, Wade Plems versus the Maasai Warrior. Guys, let's get your reaction to that.
Look, I love it. I'm sorry, guys. I love this card because we get to see new faces. We get to see new storylines be built. We get to see how stars are in the making. When I first came into the scene, no one really cared to know who I was. But as I evolved and started building myself as a person, as a character, I became a household name. So this is everybody's opportunity on this card to showcase themselves and become a household name in Misfits.
I got to agree with AT. There's a lot of opportunity for people on January 18th to announce themselves to the crossover world, right? I'll be the first one to say I'm not familiar with many of these guys, but it really only matters what occurs inside the ring, right? So I agree with you there, AT. Good to see Adam Brooks back. I mean, loved what he fights for, the cause that he represents. So him getting another crack at Misfits is great. This son of Prince Nassim Hamed, Biel, like we broke, last week is returning. He takes on Zach Ziggy Johnson. Now, Zach is a dude who I have a bit of history with. I commentated one of his fights several years ago. He is a tough guy. He's a durable guy. I will say this is a hugely difficult fight for him. I mean, this is a Mount Everest type matchup against Sling and Sammy from Miami, but love to see it. Carla Jade, can't wait for that. But yeah, I think that for me, the final two fights are where my attention really lies. What will Wade Plem look like inside the ring, and what can AT do against Darren Till, and what will that fight turn into? I mean, that's really, I think, what a lot of people are looking forward to most, BL. What do you think?
Well, for me, there's one face you forgot there. You said you're not familiar with many faces. Well, what if one face that stands out to me? That's Bebo. He's making his return after his shoulder injury, and he's coming in to make a
Whoa, whoa,
statement.
whoa. Can't call it a return if the kid never showed up in the first place. It's not
Exactly.
returning. This is the first time. So I'll wait to see if
Debut.
Bevo makes it. Yeah, I mean, hey, this kid's got to make it to the ring first before we talk about anything with Bevo. He hasn't earned my words. So, Bevo, I'll see you fight week. Now, I got to ask, AT. Let's take the attention back to you. Come on, this is the main
Yeah.
event. We got to talk about the main event more than anything else. Are you going to be double dipping? Are we going to see you on air presenting in the broadcast booth? Or is
Oh
Darren Till
man.
the type where you can't do both?
Look, I wanted to, but Misfits and Mams was like, hey, look, we love the idea, but we kind of want you to be focused on this main event slot. If you were like a co-main or something else, different story. But we kind of want you to focus because this is your first big main event slot,
Yeah.
and we want you to be locked in, and I'm totally fine with that. But this will be the only last time I will ever do this. Other than that, I need to be out there presenting and doing all these things and breaking it down because this is going to be a banger of a fight. And a lot
Mm,
of eyes are going to be on this fight because they want to see what's next for
yeah.
AT. What's next for Wade Flims? Yeah, we might not get 700,000 to 800,000, but I guarantee you guys we're gonna have about at least 350 to 400,000 viewers watching
Mm.
this fight because they are going to see me fight Jake Paul next potentially if or when I beat Darren Till.
And what's next is a wonderful conversation, and we've touched on it. But I do want to rewind to the past and what led to this. Talk to me about how much it means to you to finally get this main event. Like you mentioned, it's been a long time coming. You've had to earn the stripes to get this top billing. What does it mean for Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor to be the main event?
It means a lot. I worked hard to get here. As long as I kept winning, I knew I was going to put myself in this position, which I did. I could have touted all I wanted, but nothing would have happened. So I had to put forth what I needed to do, and my game plan was win my fight, not only just win my fight, dominate my fights. That was going to put me in this position. I'm in a hell of a position right now. Yeah, it took me 35 years to get here, becoming a main eventer at 35, but it's okay. My road is different from the next person's road. It might take a kid until he's 23 until he get a main event on his own. Me, 35 years till I'm a main event. It's okay. I'm having fun while I'm at it at the same time. I'm enjoying myself. I get to beat people up. I get to make new friends like you guys right here. And I get to make a lot of money and do what I love to do. Hell, don't be surprised if I get on the next Creed movie.
I love it. The transition to Hollywood. I mean, you can't spell Los Angeles without AT. There's a T in there somewhere. Now, I do want to talk to you about Darren Till. I want to talk to you about Darren Till. What does he bring into this equation? Because there's a lot of questions about his boxing ability. But how would you answer that?
Well, Darren Till brings a lot. He's a big, strong guy. He's a great entertainer. He can talk. He can talk the talk, walk the walk. He's not afraid to fight, and that's coming from his UFC days. Darren's a big, strong dude, from what I know. But at the end of the day, it's all about who got the more dog in them.
Mm,
I'm not really worried worried about what Darren's going to do in that ring. I'm worried about what am I going to do in that ring? How am I going to execute my moves? How am I going to come prepared for this fight? How's my coach coming prepared for this fight? Because I don't give a damn what Darren got going on in his camp. He ain't gonna stop the pretty boy. Y'all seen how I fought Tommy Fury, and that was my debut. I've improved. I've gotten better. So as far as Darren and what he brings to the table, this doesn't concern me. I'm concerned about what I bring to this table and to this fight.
I want to ask a quick one, just about what might be right on paper when you look at this fight. The height, Darren Till, 6 feet tall. I think you're at 5'7", 5'8".
5'7".
5'7". But like you said, you
On a
fought
good
Tommy
day.
Fury. Gabe Silva, another guy that's north of 6. Do you feel
Yeah.
like, okay, I've seen the type of stature that Darren's going to bring in there?
Yeah, I fought them all. I sparred Jake.
Yeah,
I sparred Logan. I fought Tommy, who's taller. I fought Gabe Silva, who's taller. I fought Jack Fincham, who was 6'2". I fought Ryan Taylor, who was six feet. I mean, I'm used to fighting taller guys. I train for
yeah,
fighting taller guys. It doesn't phase me. When you look at Dwight Muhammad Qawi, old school heavyweight fighter back in the past, everybody knew how dangerous Dwight Muhammad Qawi was, especially Evander Holyfield. Guy was 5'7", and he was a title holder, a title contender. The guy fought Foreman, for Christ's sakes, at my weight and in the world of boxing. So it's not about the size of the dog, it's about the fight inside of that dog.
Absolutely. Now, AT, you mentioned what's next for you. You mentioned the name Jake Paul. Well, you saved this event, so I don't know whether you've had the opportunity to speak to Mans and maybe speak to him, projecting what are you going to do going forwards?
Look, I think one fight at a time, because now that I'm getting better, a lot of people are declining to fight me. Mike Perry declined to fight me. Benson Henderson declined to fight me. And I understand I'm a tough fight. I'm a very tough fight. I think after this, I'm gonna get to the drawing board, talk to Mams and Sound Brothers like, hey, maybe I should try to get that Jake Paul fight next. Potentially Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. or Ben Whitaker. Those are the three fights I would love to fight. We know Tommy
mhm,
Fury's not going to fight me in a rematch, so I'm not entertaining it. I don't want to waste my time and breath speaking on a call out like that. And we already know KSI already is going for the bigger, better marquee fighters like the Amir Khans, the Khan. I'm not gonna waste my time, until they bring it up to me like, hey, Anthony, I think it's time to see you versus Casper. Then fine. But until then, let me focus on other fights like a Jake Paul fight. Yeah, we're boys. There's no bad animosity. I just feel like it'd be a great, entertaining fight for the fans. I'm young, I'm active, I'm on a win streak. Hell, he could come in at 200 pounds in a cruiserweight bout. It doesn't bother me. I'm
mhm.
just here to put on a show for the fans.
We were talking about this a little bit off air, the differences and the acclimation to boxing that you felt in, terms of gas tank, in terms of presence, pressure, all those other types of intangibles. When you're in there with Darren Till, what do you think is going to crumble first on his end? Because he does have such limited to almost non-existent experience in boxing, whereas, you've really attached yourself to this skill set.
I like that question. I really can't give out the answer because by me giving you out the answer, he's going to try to, how I say it, he's going to try to work on that weakness. So I don't want
Right.
to give
Can't give
him
him the game
no,
plan.
yeah, I can't give him no game plan. But just know that I am ready for what he has to offer. If he wants to
Mm.
stand in the center of the ring and bang, do it. If he wants to outbox and box, let's do it. I'm ready. It does not matter what he wants to do. We can do whatever. If you want to throw a kick, I'm gonna throw a kick at you. If you want to turn this into kickboxing, hell, we can go some K1 rules, whatever, and do some MMA ground and pound. But we already know my wrestling is a lot better than Darren's wrestling.
That's fair.
AT, a fight we all expected to see on this card was Lil Cracra versus Dean. And I know you have some work with Lil Cracra, obviously having the same coach. Could we get any update in that regard? What is the plans for Lil Cracra going forwards?
Cray Cray, that's something that my coach can give the public the full details of Cray Cray, because at the end of the day, I'm not Cray Cray's coach. I'm his
Mm.
teammate. But I can say Cray Cray has been enjoying himself with his family, which definitely he should because he's fought like 3 times and like 4 times in freaking 6 months, damn near. So this is a good break for Cray Cray. But after this break, he's getting right back in the gym. He's getting ready to go into kill mode. Look, whoever his opponent is, I feel sorry for that person because they're going to see a new and improved Cray Cray. In boxing, you improve, you get better as you go, as you fight. Each fight, you're a different person. You're not the same fighter as you were your last opponent. Cray Cray is that type of guy. He's getting better each time. And look, man, I saw Cray Cray sparring video with Camille. Man, it was a banger. It was a banger, and it's going to be. Cray Cray
Was
can
it
beat a
close?
lot of. It was a close one, and like Cray Cray can beat a lot of professionals right now in the scene of boxing right now. I mean, he is a professional. He can beat a lot of world title contenders right now. That's
How do
how
you
good he is.
see how do you see him versus Dean going? If you could predict that one.
He'll beat the shit out of Dean. Like, come on, bro. Dean was getting beat up by Dave Haggerty until Dean kept spamming. He kept spamming the fucking right hand like a controller.
But
Look,
if that right hand was to land on Cray Cray, does Cray Cray have the chin to be able to take
man,
it?
look. Cray Cray's a smart fighter. You got to be a dumbass to get hit with the right hand the way Dean pulls it. Especially Cray Cray being
That's me right
like
there.
an experienced fighter, especially if you're dealing with the lefty, bro. You're
Mhm.
dealing with a lefty, and you're spamming that right hand. It, Dean, I'm not going to speak on Dean because Dean's just a hater. Dean had the opportunity to showcase the world why he was the best, and I'm not going to speak on him. He doesn't deserve my energy. He does not deserve my energy, but Cray Cray deserved my energy because he worked hard for it. He didn't
Fair.
complain all year. He didn't tweet saying, I want this, I want that. He just shut his mouth. He fought, he stayed humble, and look what he got in return for his reward.
I do want to ask, you were also cornering Dawood Savage that night against Deji. Were you surprised at the success that Dawood was having up until that finishing sequence?
Oh, hell no, because it's an easy game plan. You jab and move around, he gets close, you hold his ass. Keep jabbing, you spam the right fucking hand, and you just hold him. You don't need to
Mhm.
box with somebody who's out of shape. Just move around him. He gonna get tired. Look,
What was that
we
knockout? Like what happened? Why did he?
don't know. Bro, if he would have beaten Deji, do you understand how big like the scene would like? All
It
right,
would be
let's be honest, bro. It's like saying Thanos just one shot at the universe. If Dawood would have beaten Deji, I think Crossover would have died that night. Like, hey,
The whole thing just died.
it would have
hey,
been
hey,
bad. It would
it
have been
would have it
bad.
would have been bad publicity right now, bro. Like, I think Deji probably would have deleted his Instagram, his Twitter, everything. It would have been bad, but thankfully Deji took it out. No shade to Deji because he's my boy, and we're just having laughing giggles
Of
for
course.
shits. It's
I love how you
nothing
say
personal.
thankfully Deji took it out as you were cornering Dawood.
Like, I'm
I
just
love
saying,
it.
like, I, what's crazy? I've offered Mams and Solemn Brothers to fight the Messiah Warrior when
Mhm.
HS pulled out. Like, I was going to fight Messiah. Messiah's like, you want to fight? I was like, yeah, yeah, let's fight. But they're like, nah, we can't do this fight, dog. Last second shit.
I remember you and literally talked about that at the weigh-ins, I think, before we went on air. You'd come over and you were like, dude, I think I might be in tomorrow. What was the reasoning that they gave you why you couldn't fight Messiah Warrior on the Qatar Supercard?
I think he's making his debut. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be fair with somebody like me who has a lot of experience going in there fighting. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. It probably would have looked bad on my end.
Well, the news that completely took me off guard was this week when I saw Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor. Looks like it's in development. Guys, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I've got a couple thoughts. First and foremost, it's likely not happening. I've still yet to see credible, serious sources, report in a legit manner. If the Visit India tourism campaign gets involved, I mean, that's very similar to Visit Qatar, which is one of the sponsors for X Series 19. So that would kind of make sense, because when you look at the sum that is going to both guys, that's a ridiculous number. I mean, $500 million for two people. That's not even talking about the rest of the card. That's not even talking about the operational expenses, all of the other, money that you need to put this type of show on. I mean, if you're talking $500 million just for two people's purses, I got to imagine that this event's going to be in the neighborhood of $600 to $750 million just to put on.
I was listening and reading and seeing how is this fight possibly potentially happening, and I'm going to throw a few things your way, guys, and I want your thoughts and feelings about it. So there's this family out in India called Albani family. They had one of the biggest weddings of all time. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was cost of 600 million, and that was over the few days. And they had people like Victoria and David Beckham. They had previous presidents go there, also prime ministers go there. You had Zuckerberg there, Bezos. I mean, it was stacked, and they all got paid to go there. And that was just 0.5 of the Albani fortune. I mean, they are worth 120 billion. And the son of the Albani family actually requested, and he said, after he saw Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, he says, I want my own of that. I want this to happen in India. And he said, I want this, but with Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. However, Jake Paul actually then declined the fight because he said, if the UFC isn't involved, I'm not doing it. But this is where it gets interesting, because obviously, as you know, the WWE and the UFC is owned by the same parent company. So they could potentially have an agreement where Logan Paul, obviously being part of the WWE, and Conor McGregor fight for this amount, which the Albani family would clearly pay for. I think that is the only way you can actually make this happen. I mean, I know that's a lot of random facts I'm sending to you guys, but that's what I've read, that's what I've listened to, and that's the latest development from my end.
I'm calling cap because I don't think neither one of those guys can demand a $250 million fee just to fight each other. Like, not even UFC in the history doing that. WWE, no. Like, the only person who was able to do that was Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao, and this was in their heyday of sparring at the highest. Like, I'm calling cap. Now, if it does happen, you guys, how do you pronounce it?
Ambani. It's the Ambani family.
Ibani fam, you know how to reach me. Anthony underscore pretty boy Instagram. Anthony
Yo, quick go, AT.
Twitter. Look, if y'all need a help, a co-main or an undercard, hell, if y'all need help putting up the damn boxing ring, you reach out to me.
Hey, I mean, ambitious and always the ultimate opportunist. No, I agree. I won't believe it until the first round gets started. I just haven't seen anything really serious in terms of credible reporting regarding it. So, cool. If it happens, it happens.
I would agree. I would agree. The only thing that makes me believe it could happen, we saw Deji versus Mayweather. That happened. That was, for me, more of a ridiculous fight.
Because there's precedent. Because there's precedent for that. Floyd has done stupid exhibitions. That was just another one of the lineup for him. There's no real precedent for this, especially the money that they're talking about. 250 large each? That's fucking unheard of. That's insane.
Yeah. I think it would be the biggest fight of all time, though, potentially. I think this would be bigger than Mike Tyson.
Depends on the distribution. Depends on the distribution. If it's on Netflix, maybe. Because you're getting that insane amount of distribution. But if you're putting this on a pay-per-view on, I don't want to be disrespectful to any streaming service, so I'm not going to mention any specifically. But if you do it as a pay-per-view somewhere, I truthfully just don't think that it's going to have the dent that Tyson and Jake Paul did.
But then the argument I would have is look at the population of India as well. And obviously it is one of the biggest places in the world. I mean, if the family gets involved,
and their best fucking fighter is Niraj Goyat. They haven't produced. They have not produced. All right? They have not produced. So don't talk to me about this huge population size when you think about boxing in the country. It just hasn't been a massive sport. It's just not a fixture of India, I would say. And maybe I'm uninformed on that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I mean no offense. But again, when Niraj Goyat is your pride of boxing, I do have questions. And
the questions are, who's training him? Because bloody hell, he's good.
Hey
God.
man, hey, I'm just happy that we're here. I got my two best buddies in the world talking with me, co-hosting with me. Look, man, we're gonna have fun January 18th, and we're gonna knock his ass out. And the world is going to be start buying You Can't Spell Goat Without AT t-shirts. Look, so many amazing things are going to happen. Phenomenal entrance as well.
I love it. You can't spell go without AT. Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor, it's been a pleasure to have you join us today on Misfits News. Make sure you buy tickets for X Series 20. We kick off 2025 with a bang. For Biel, I've been your host, Ben the Bane Davis. We will see you in the next one.